This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Identity fraud. A Halifax man loses his life savings but doesn't know how it happened.
Riding profile, how the U.S. is overshadowing local issues in the race for Cape Breton, Canso, Antigonish.
And a spring storm, making the most of an April snow day.
Another round of snow overnight into Wednesday morning, then gradual clearing and a more spring-like finish to the week. Your full forecast is coming up.
A Halifax man who nearly lost his entire life savings to identity fraud is still trying to understand how it happened.
He says his computer is protected with antivirus software and he chooses strong passwords. But as Angela McIver reports, that's not always enough.
Hall is still absorbing that someone was able to access his bank account and steal $28,000. It was his life savings and more than his partner makes in a year at McDonald's. She was the one who made the shocking discovery, logging in to pay bills.
And she couldn't get into my Simply Financial bank account because somebody else had gotten into it and changed the password. The money was all gone.
Hall says he keeps his computer where he does his banking safe.
I have all antiviruses, I have malware, all that on there, and my computer is clean, so it's them, in my opinion.
Hall says he wasn't given specifics on how exactly it happened, but just last week, after a month-long investigation, Simply Financial reimbursed the full amount. In a statement, the bank says protecting clients against fraud is a top priority, adding, "We have resolved this matter for our client and recognize the length of the process in this case caused added inconvenience, which we will review as we work to support our clients in situations like this one." Cybersecurity expert Claudio Popa says criminals can access bank accounts in all sorts of ways, warning that antivirus software isn't enough.
No one releases a new virus to the internet without actually testing that it can bypass antivirus. So chances are, if all you depend on is antivirus, you have no guarantee that your computer is clean.
According to data from the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre, identity fraud had the highest number of reports among all types of fraud last year. There were almost 9,500 victims across the country. Among those cases, 106 were in Nova Scotia. The Anti-Fraud Centre says it doesn't track how much money people lose to identity fraud because it's too complicated.
And in a lot of cases, the financial institution or the affected business may absorb the losses. So it's hard to know exactly who's absorbing the losses, who's responsible. So we do not track losses associated to identity fraud.
Experts say when cyber criminals take over your account, they're stealing your money and your personal information. The best defense for consumers is to learn best practices and stay vigilant. Angela McIver, CBC News, Halifax.
We are well into the spring season in Nova Scotia, but that doesn't mean the winter weather is behind us. Most schools in the province were closed today as drivers tried to navigate their way around 5 to 10 centimeters of slushy April snow. Preston Mulligan has more.
It was the kind of day you wanted to avoid the roads if at all possible. The April snow day had plows out in full force and police were urging caution. Simon here doesn't mind doing some light shoveling. It beats the classroom.
But we also get to skip school, so that's nice.
No one asked for 10 centimeters of snow as we head into mid-April, but here we are. And there's no denying it's a winter wonderland here in Public Gardens. People here are making the most of it and know better than to expect spring weather in the spring.
Kind of used to it here in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
We usually call it, what do we call it? The farmer's fertilizer?
Well, this type of snow is actually really pretty, so it's not that bad. But then the roads are a little slushy.
Up on Citadel Hill, one last chance to get in a cross-country ski adventure. And as extraordinary as this day is, this couple from Ukraine reminded me how exceptional this day was last year.
Today morning, check weather last year. I check photo and I see it was sun eclipse. 8 April last year. It was warm, it was sunny, we enjoy from sunglasses eclipse.
This eclipse party at Meat Cove is more like it.
People are in the way.
But hey, when the sledding weather hits, whether it's January or April, this is where North End Haligonians spend their snow day. As you were saying, there's nothing more Canadian than this. On the other hand, it's April in Canada, not February.
True enough. It's a surprise snowfall, but we'll take it. I mean, I took today off work because the kids weren't going to school, and we're going to be here and sledding on the hill and having fun. That's the Canadian way, right?
The Canadian way and a Nova Scotia spring. Preston Mulligan, CBC News, Halifax.
Yeah, the kids had fun today, that's for sure.
At least they did, right?
You got lemons, make lemonade,
exactly.
right? Yeah, listen, the kids had a great time today. The dogs were loving it. The drivers, maybe not so much. Problematic, obviously, this morning. And that's going to be the concern again for Wednesday morning will be the commute. We have another round coming in, so we'll call this one round 2. It will be more so across the northern areas of the province, southern New Brunswick, northern Nova Scotia, and you can see along the Atlantic coastline where we had kind of the bulk of the accumulation for Monday night. It's Tuesday night will be the northern half. This is where we have another chance of 5 to as much as 10 centimeters, especially over higher terrain areas. But for the most part, probably closer to 5. A trace to a couple centimeters along the Atlantic coastline yet again, just enough to make things slick for that morning commute. Temperatures are going to be dropping below the freezing mark. We're going to be about -2 to -4 overnight. And so all of that water and slushiness on the roads, that's going to be freezing up. So even if there's not a lot of accumulation, count on Wednesday morning being a bit slick with lingering flurries in the mix and a gusty westerly wind in the morning, which will then shift to a westerly wind into the afternoon, which will still be breezy. But some sunshine breaking through into the afternoon. Temperatures onto the plus side as the melt will be on. More melting for Thursday, which will be our brightest day of the week. But we'll actually see temperatures continuing to rise into the weekend. That 7-day forecast is still ahead.
All right, stay tuned for that. Thanks,
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Two candidates in the new riding of Cape Breton-Canso-Antigonish say local issues are being overshadowed in this federal election campaign. Voters in the now larger riding have one thing on their mind: U.S.-Canada relations. The CBC's Tom Ayers brings us the story.
Liberal candidate Jaime Batiste is gearing up for another election. That means long days on the campaign trail, chatting with voters. He says most people are talking about one thing: whether Mark Carney or Pierre Poilievre can go up against U.S. President Donald Trump.
When I knock on their doors, they have that uncertainty around them, and we need a strong leader, and we need to give Mark Carney a strong mandate, and I think that's what this election is going to be about.
Batiste says tariffs are the #1 concern among voters.
We have weeks left of this campaign, but we also have potentially 4 years left of Donald Trump, and between the fisheries, the farmers, the forestry, and we've seen the chaos in the auto sector. People are scared about what this means to them.
Political scientist Tom Urbaniak says Cape Bretoners usually vote for the candidate, but not in this election.
In a way, it's become a referendum on which of these two leaders, Mark Carney or Pierre Poilievre, is best suited to navigate the Canadian vessel through the stormy waters.
But the NDP's Joanna Clark is hearing from voters who are still worried about rising costs.
A big concern is affordability, and so I'm just really hoping that this election kind of can really address some of that and we can make some progress because people are really starting to feel that strain.
Despite those concerns, she's been told some NDP voters are planning to vote strategically for the Liberals to keep Poilievre out of office.
And that hurts a little bit just because I want people to feel represented and not like they have to vote a certain way to preserve freedom. That's a scary place that we're going.
A spokesperson for Conservative candidate Alan McMaster told CBC News he was too busy campaigning for an interview. A former deputy premier and finance minister, McMaster's election website touts his 15 years' experience in the provincial legislature. Other candidates in the riding include Ryan Smith for the People's Party and Bill Matheson with the Greens. Urbaniak says the contest, though, is really a head-to-head matchup between the high-profile Liberal who briefly ran for his party's leadership and the longtime provincial Conservative cabinet minister, or more specifically, between their leaders. Tom Ayers, CBC News, Cape Breton.
CBC in Cape Breton is hosting a debate tonight for the newly defined riding of Sydney Glace Bay. All 8 candidates on the ballot have been invited to participate in the debate happening at Centre 200 in Sydney. The debate will be moderated by Steve Sutherland, host of Information Morning Cape Breton. It begins at 6:30 and will be live streamed on our CBC Nova Scotia YouTube channel as well as on cbc.ca. There will also be another debate for the riding of Cape Breton Canso Antigonish happening on Thursday.
Well, for the past few days, Halifax has hosted a unique vessel in its harbor. The E-Ship 1 is designed to carry cargo around the world. Specifically, it's tailored to deliver parts for wind turbines. It stands out because of 4 huge towers that spin and harness the power of the wind, kind of like the wings of an airplane. The towers can reduce the amount of fuel needed to drive the ship's main propeller. The E-Ship 1 arrived last week and unloaded parts needed for a new wind farm set to be built in Hants County near Windsor.
Lobster fishers who fish in the Gulf of St. Lawrence will have a new way of reporting to the Federal Department of Fisheries when the season opens this month. Electronic logging will be mandatory in the Gulf region. Fishers who worked with a tech company to create the e-log app. The app will collect the same information that the paper logs did, but will reduce the time it takes for DFO to enter the data and analyze it. And about 5,000 lobster fishers across Atlantic Canada and Quebec will be using e-logging when the season opens. The next step will be to add new species on the app, with the next one being snow crab.
A 13-year-old from Halifax has become a rising star in the world of chess.
Colleagues
like how school talks like STEM and like there's always like room for improvement. I think it's really good at teaching you like how to deal with like your emotions because it can be super frustrating to lose a game, let's say like 5 hours where you've worked really hard. So I think it's taught me like a lot of that. Because I remember when I would be younger, I'd get like really upset after losses, but like over time I learned to like deal with that and like reset for like the next games.
You learn to lose, and I actually think that's one of the most important lessons of this game, particularly as someone young. How do you cope and emotionally handle those losses? It's a very personal game. It's you against one other person, and so you take your losses very seriously, right? They're personal losses, and so I think it's actually been really good from an emotional management perspective for him as well, and that learning how to lose and how to realize that failure allows you to learn from it and move on, and how do you get better and how do you improve.
I think it's like really something that I like enjoy a lot, and I don't think I've ever like lost the passion for it, and yeah, I just really find it super fun to play. So yeah, I think I'm gonna keep playing it for as long as I can.
All right, we know we are having some technical difficulties. Appreciate your patience with that. We're working on it.
Before we go to break, a look at snowy Mahone Bay. Ryan is up next.
All right, lots of work behind the scenes trying to fix up our technical issues of the show. Apologies for that, but we are working on it.
Tom got his snow tires off.
That's true.
That's the problem.
Something else we can blame on me? Okay.
It's the root of all problems. Is you got your snow
I'm on a roll.
100%.
I'm on a roll.
100%.
Okay.
You are on a roll this week. He walked to work too today. Yeah. You're having a day.
Yeah, I'm having a day.
Yeah. And listen, tomorrow morning as well is going to be a little bit on the slick and snowy side for everybody. As I mentioned off the top of the show, temperatures are going to be dropping below the freezing mark, so even the slushiness and water that's lingering could possibly freeze up. Will likely freeze up in a good few spots, so leave yourself extra time and space. Have a look at our webcam shot, and this is, of course, from Nova Scotia Webcams, Lunenburg. And yeah, roads look okay there, but boy, does that look a lot like January, February, early March. Not so much early to mid-April, but it is what it is, and yeah, we'll get through it. You can see right near the freezing mark right now in Lunenburg, and we are going to be seeing those temperatures continuing to drop as we roll through the overnight. -2 in through Sydney, -1 in through the Halifax area, and that northeast wind is what is really kind of keeping things cool through the overnight. We are going to be seeing continuing to see those winds sustain near 20, gusting 40, even 50 kilometers per hour for coastal areas. Then a shift as this next system comes in. So we've got this secondary low, which is rolling over from Maine into New Brunswick right now. That will push through, bringing us that additional snow. And with that, a little shift to a westerly wind overnight, and that will really punch the winds in for a few hours. And we'll time it all out. There's the area of high pressure that's coming in. That is going to be bringing us the nice brighter skies for Thursday. Temperatures in this cool pocket, again, clashing with this mild air. This is what's bringing us the unsettled weather right now. And as we walk you through, first and foremost, the snowfall outlook, just in case you missed it earlier, we are looking at 5 to as much as 10 centimeters over the northern half of the province for tonight into Wednesday morning with this secondary round that's going to be coming through. Looks like a trace to a couple centimeters for most along the Atlantic coastline. Looks like that's going to be our greatest chance of getting to 5 centimeters will be, say, central towards the northern parts of the province. Overnight lows, -1 to -2. So just a heads up that, again, we will be looking at things freezing up. Those westerly winds sustain near 30, gusting 50, 60, and even 70 kilometers per hour. So yes, we are indeed for Tuesday overnight. You can see this next system coming in. And as it does, there's that shift to a westerly wind. Note the wind arrows here. They will be gusting pretty gusty late overnight into the early morning hours of Wednesday. We'll see some lingering flurries in the morning, no question. And then into the afternoon, we're going to start to see those really breaking up. A couple of isolated flurry chances towards the lunchtime hour, but we are looking at some sun and cloud into the afternoon. Temperatures bumping up into the 2 to 4 range for most, but Cape Breton 1 to 3 northwest winds into the afternoon. The clouds likely dominating here a bit more as well, 1 to 3 degrees into the mainland, and we're going to be talking about temperatures, 3, 4 degrees. We'll see some sunshine breaking through here into the afternoon. And the best chance of a solid mix of sun and cloud will be towards the Tri-County area and areas in the west. Now, that system continues to move out. Thursday looks dynamite. We'll see high pressure off to the south, lots of sunshine. Still not quite as warm as it should be for this time of year. In most cases, just lagging by a degree or two. We should be around 7. Should get there. Bridgewater for some places in through the south and west. And then we're going to be turning milder for Friday. Increasing clouds, though, on Friday, and our next system approaching here. And the timing of this one is going to be key when that moisture is going to be approaching. It does look like right now, kind of late day Saturday. Could see maybe some late afternoon showers in through the southwest, Yarmouth, Digby, Shelburne. But most of us should stay dry until Saturday evening. Note the temperatures on Saturday are going to be fairly mild, so that'll be nice. We've got some showers rolling in, as I said. That'll be more so for Saturday night into Sunday. But temperatures at least staying mild into early next week. No big snow threats.
Good news.
I took the snow brush out of my vehicle last week, too.
Oh,
bet
boy.
you did.
Here we go again.
Okay, folks, we're getting there.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, guys.
Coming up, we look at how the tourism season in Halifax is shaping up in the midst of a trade war with the U.S. With the Trump tariff war in full swing, tourism operators are expecting a different kind of upcoming summer season. The hope is that this region can benefit from travelers who refuse to vacation in the United States. Ross Jefferson is president and CEO of Discover Halifax. Mr. Jefferson, are you thinking about tourism differently in the Trump tariff era?
Yeah, certainly we know that the impacts from tariffs are affecting everyone around the world. The tourism and travel industry is a little bit of a different industry. While it's still considered an export, it's not subject to the tariffs. So we are still expecting it to be an impact here in Canada. And predominantly what we expect is more Canadians will be traveling inside Canada and deferring some of their travel plans to the U.S. So we do expect that there'll be certainly a supporting environment this summer with more Canadians traveling here.
So when you look at the overall projections, is the Trump effect good for tourism or bad for Nova Scotia tourism?
Well, you know, we expect that it might be a little bit of both. In the typical year, we'll have about, here in Canada, Americans will spend about $13 billion traveling to Canada. Now, Canadians spend about double of that traveling to the U.S. So we expect, and we know that a lot of that Canadian travel to the U.S. will likely be converted into travel here in Canada. So we expect that to be positive. We don't expect as much of a decline in U.S. visitation. Most Americans are not necessarily paying so close attention that it's impacting their travel plans. Now, the other variable, though, that we are watching is the overall effect on the economy. If this ends up being a protracted and longer economic effect, we know it can affect the discretionary spending of all visitors. So that'll be the key thing that we'll be watching for throughout the rest of this year.
So you're hoping for Canadian staycations then, I guess?
Yeah, staycations, people that might be staying in their own province or people that will be actually traveling and visiting throughout the country. We saw this clearly happen during COVID when people a little bit more fearful of traveling abroad. We expect a very similar thing to be happening here in Canada again, with Canadians traveling predominantly in Canada this year.
Will Americans still come? I mean, anecdotally, what are you hearing about bookings from Americans at this point?
Yeah, we're still hearing that it's strong. In fact, our website traffic that we're monitoring, both from Canadians as well as Americans, is up this year compared to last year at the same time period. So we don't think that there'll necessarily be a lot of impact about Americans choosing to come to Canada. That might be a little bit different on maybe some border towns and some of those areas that are a little bit of perhaps hot spots. Here in Nova Scotia, we're not anticipating any special decline from U.S. visitation. In fact, many of our tour operators are saying that they've got great bookings into the summer right now from U.S. visitors.
So maybe there'll be fewer Europeans going to the United States as well. I mean, given that kind of world dynamic that we're seeing, how do you adjust your marketing strategy, or do you?
Yeah, so I mean, we are continuing with the investments in our marketing, and of course, with Americans, we do a little bit of marketing direct. We work closely with our partners, Destination Canada and Tourism Nova Scotia, to promote Nova Scotia and the Halifax Regional Municipality into the U.S. Those plans continue as they are right now. There's no changes to that. There are other segments of business and travel that we are expecting to see some benefits in. The convention business is a great example. We do expect that there may be more conventions, more meetings that'll be happening here in Canada. When associations or groups are discussing their alternatives for meeting, we do think that Canada is standing out right now as a destination that visitors from around the world would like to come to, and we think that that's going to be very positive for the convention business as well.
And at the same time, you have to make it easy for them to come here. How satisfied are you with the way flights are being routed, if not year-round, certainly during the summer season?
Yeah, so we've had a really great recovery here in Nova Scotia with our flights. In fact, we're, the routes and the number of seats that we have available now exceeding where we were pre-pandemic, so we're encouraged about that. We do know that there's less people traveling right now from Canada going to the United States, so that can put some pressure on some of those those new routes that have been opened up, but we're not hearing any direct threat to those routes right now. And in fact, we are seeing success with those routes that are happening internationally, and certainly the travel within Canada is very strong too.
So, given the climate we're in now, what do you want to see government do?
Well, look, I think that this issue is, I think first and foremost, a significant issue for the economy, and I think that while the tourism industry and the travel industry has been protected from tariffs, I think that the overall state of and health of the economy is critically important. We know that that's not unique just to Canada. That's going to be facing us all around the world. So we're watching it closely. We look forward to hopefully some positive negotiations and continued conversations with our closest neighbor to the south
Yeah,
of us.
we'll see how that all goes. Ross Jefferson, really good to talk to you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coming up, Donald Trump raises the stakes in his global trade war, telling China to remove its retaliatory tariffs or pay the price.
And the campaigns head west. 3 of the main party leaders are making their pitch to voters in Western Canada. Welcome back. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is in BC for the second time in this campaign, and his latest promises are about making Canada's housing market more affordable.
Singh says he would turn the temporary ban on foreign home buyers into a permanent measure. He's also promising to bar numbered companies and corporate proxies from purchasing homes.
We're going to make it permanent, the ban on big money investors buying up Canadian homes. That should be a ban. Homes in Canada should be for you and your family, not for rich investors to get richer. In addition, we're going to end the loophole that allows speculators to flip homes year after year. That's got to stop.
Singh says he would tax as income profits from the sale of a home sold within 5 years of its purchase, unless it's a principal residence.
The New Democrats are facing an uphill battle in BC, where many of the party's seats now seem vulnerable, including in leader Jagmeet Singh's own riding. As David Thurton reports, the party's dimming fortunes are prompting a change in tone on the campaign trail.
Campaigning in Metro Vancouver near his own riding, Jagmeet Singh is fighting to keep the 12 NDP seats in BC.
Do you think you can win your own riding?
Absolutely. I'm confident that I'll be able to serve the people of Burnaby Central.
The Liberals are also in the region, hoping to pull in NDP support.
What's more fundamental to me as an NDP supporter is, protecting and improving our public health system. And I do think Carney will do that.
According to the CBC's poll tracker, the NDP is projected to win 5 seats, not enough to maintain official party status.
Mr. Singh himself is in jeopardy of losing his seat because the NDP has fallen so far in British Columbia.
Notably, New Democrats have adjusted their messaging.
I'm running to be Prime Minister of this country.
Singh no longer saying that.
Why are you changing your language?
I frame this answer in the context of the minority government because I've seen the difference that we make in people's lives.
You know how many seniors I have met that actually got dental care and what it means for them?
NDP incumbents are now campaigning on why Canada needs to maintain a strong New Democrat presence in opposition.
We fought for that. The largest healthcare expansion in more than 60 years. 25 New Democrats deliver that. So you better believe more New Democrats means fighting for people and getting things for Canadians.
It's a subtle change, according to Singh's former spokesperson.
So I think it is now clear in people's minds that we're looking at a probably minority Liberal government, potentially majority Liberal government. He's making his pitch that every additional NDP MP in Ottawa is an MP that's going to fight for people.
But Singh doesn't have much time to make that case with only 2 full weeks before Election Day. David Thurton, CBC News, Ottawa.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre was also out west, where he was promising to crack down on tax evasion. He's fresh off a huge rally in Edmonton that drew thousands of people, and it seems to have given him new wind in his sails. Olivia Stefanovic reports.
After holding his biggest rally so far on the campaign trail and receiving a major endorsement from former Prime Minister Stephen Harper, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is back on the attack, promising to crack down on tax havens while criticizing his main political rival, Liberal leader Mark Carney, for co-chairing 2 investment funds for asset manager Brookfield that were worth $25 billion, registered in Bermuda to give pensioners tax advantages.
You can't avoid your taxes. Global elites should not be able to either. And that is why I will end the Liberal 2-tier tax system, where elites get loopholes and working people get audited. And I'm going to be putting hardworking Canadians first for a change.
Tax havens are not illegal, but Poilievre continues to condemn Carney for his work with Brookfield as he tries to undermine the Liberal leader's credibility and appeal to working Canadians. Poilievre is promising to rewrite tax rules and close offshore banking loopholes. He also promises to name and shame wealthy corporations for dodging taxes like Brookfield, a company that Poilievre held indirect investments in. Poilievre made his pitch today in the new riding of Edmonton Southeast, where the Liberals have tapped Edmonton Mayor Amarjeet Sohi to run as a candidate. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Edmonton.
Liberal leader Mark Carney is campaigning in Western Canada, looking to connect with voters there. He started the day in BC, renewing his pledge to double the pace of housing before heading to Calgary for a campaign rally. Catherine Tunney reports.
Alberta Premier Daniel Smith has clearly been on Liberal leader Mark Carney's mind as he campaigns out here in the West. He's made a dig at her, joking that she should be sent to the U.S.
We're sending Doug Ford onto Fox News to show them that we're not messing around up here. And we're going to send Danielle next. Maybe we won't send her. Maybe we'll send Danielle. No, maybe we won't. We won't send Danielle. We're going to keep her. No, keep her. No, it's a bad idea.
He called that simply a lighthearted comment, adding that he respects Smith and downplayed conversations that he's the one fueling Western alienation and breaking up the country.
There was a lot of opportunity for Alberta, for Canada, and my government will spare no effort to make sure that the people of Alberta, the people of Canada realize those opportunities.
Carney is heading to Smith's province today, an area largely dominated by the Conservatives, especially amid frustrations from some Western voters over the Liberals' policies around oil and gas. Just last night, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre pulled thousands out to a rally in Edmonton. Carney promised that if elected, he would speak for all of Canada and once again use the opportunity to remind voters that he's an Albertan too. Catherine Tunney, CBC News, Delta, British Columbia.
At least 58 people are dead in the Dominican Republic after a roof on a nightclub collapsed. 160 others were injured. It happened shortly after midnight in the Dominican capital, Santo Domingo. Rescue crews are looking for possible survivors trapped under the rubble. The nightclub is a popular spot in the Caribbean nation. Politicians, athletes, and others were attending a concert when the roof fell. The cause is unclear at this time.
The Iranian foreign minister is confirming Iran will hold talks with the U.S. on Saturday in Oman. Donald Trump says the discussions will be about Tehran's nuclear program. The talks come as the U.S. looks to prevent Iran from developing a nuclear weapons program. Crystal Gamansing reports.
The meeting this weekend is being called a positive step by onlookers, including China and Russia. Talks will involve U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, and Iran's Foreign Minister, Abbas Araghchi. On social media, Araghchi said talks would be an opportunity for the U.S. as well as a test, and that the ball was in America's court. That message came after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened Iran, saying a negotiated deal would be its best option.
I think if the talks aren't successful with Iran, I think Iran is going to be in great danger. And I hate to say it. Great danger, because they can't have a nuclear weapon.
In 2018, President Trump applied aggressive sanctions on Iran after pulling out of the JCPOA. Since then, there have been attempts to revive the accord that restricts Iran's civilian nuclear enrichment program. The deal was seen as providing some assurances that Iran could not pose an enhanced threat to regional partners, including Israel. Now Trump is looking for a new deal. He initiated contact with Iran's supreme leader last month. Talks were rejected as being unwise and not honorable. It's unclear what offer would bring Iran to the table. Araghchi was involved in the original deal negotiated back in 2015. The meeting Saturday will be mediated by Oman's foreign minister. Crystal Gamansing, CBC News, London.
The United States and China are both vowing to ratchet up the trade war. President Trump says he will put an additional 50% tax on goods coming in from China if the country does not withdraw its 34% tariff on American goods. Richard Madden has the latest from Washington.
They will be going into effect at 12:01 a.m. tonight, so effectively tomorrow, yes.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirming the U.S. will slap more tariffs on Chinese imports, totaling an astounding 104%, igniting the next phase of President Donald Trump's global trade war.
America does not need other countries as much as other countries need us, and President Trump knows this.
The world's two largest economies refuse to buckle, Beijing now imposing counter tariffs against the U.S., calling Trump's actions bullying, a mistake on top of a mistake, saying China will fight to the end.
The president believes that she and China want to make a deal. They just don't know how to get that started.
This follows an intense hearing on Capitol Hill, where lawmakers pressed Trump's new trade representative for punishing almost every country with aggressive tariffs.
I still cannot fathom why
we are treating Canada and Mexico, our largest trading partners, basically the same way we're treating Beijing. It doesn't make any sense to me.
The country decisively voted for this president and his trade policy. He knows how to use tariffs appropriately to negotiate deals where necessary and to drive investment and manufacturing back to the U.S. And that's what we're doing.
The administration now says some 6 dozen countries have reached out to discuss trade deficits and barriers that impede U.S. exports, but warned these issues won't be solved overnight. Still, the fallout over Trump's tariffs is causing cracks from fellow Republicans, worried of the economic damage, rising inflation costs, and market uncertainty in their local communities, all caused by Trump's tariff and trade war.
We have to start from talking about the truth. One of the things they say with Canada is, oh, there's a 270% tariff on dairy products going from the U.S. into Canada. Well, you know what the real tariff is? 0.
And another more high-profile break is developing. Trump's billionaire advisor and Tesla CEO Elon Musk, who's a strong critic of tariffs, and White House trade advisor Peter Navarro, who is a key architect of them. Both are hurling public and personal insults at each other over the direction and impact of Trump's tariff agenda. Richard Madden, CBC News, Washington.
U.S. tariffs directed at China are causing problems for Canadian brands that get their clothes made there. Paula Duhacek looks at how their challenges are piling up.
Canadian fashion companies, from major mall brands to small businesses, have been thrown a nasty curveball by the White House.
All of those rules are changing and the ground is shifting under our feet.
Even though the U.S. hasn't targeted Canadian fashion directly, it's imposing steep new tariffs on major garment-making hubs like China, India, and Vietnam. This Calgary-based women's workwear company manufactures in China and has American customers.
And maybe the U.S. market's just not something we can go at because our product will end up being just far too expensive for that customer.
On top of tariffs, a previous exception allowing small orders from China to the U.S. without tariffs will soon be gone.
I think that 25% of my customers will cancel their orders.
This Montreal kids clothing maker will soon have to slap a surcharge on all orders south of the border.
What people have to understand is that making clothing in India and China, it's not just because labor is cheap. There's an expertise there that does not exist here.
One of my members called this tariff hell.
Stock prices for fashion giants Aritzia and Lululemon tumbled when the tariffs were announced and are still down. Even companies that try to shift away from China to avoid tariffs now can't find a safe country to move to.
Smaller companies, it could be really devastating. And for very large companies, it could be very devastating. It's just everyone's in the same boat.
It's not just fashion. Any company that makes product overseas and sells it in the U.S. is trying to figure out what to do next.
They're going to be impacted by this, whether we're talking clothing, retail, toys, other items that they want to sell into the United States.
The owner of this women's wear company now focusing on customers north of the border. Paula Duhacek, CBC News, Calgary.
Young men are leading a sharp rise in the number of Canadians getting a firearms license. Many can vote for the first time, and they're keen to hear what the parties say about gun rights. Yvette Brend has details on what's driving the trend.
This 13-year-old squeezes the trigger of a Glock 19X. It's a restricted weapon that can only be used here at a gun range.
You're more powerful with this. You feel protected also.
Jaden Gagnon is part of a growing cohort of teenagers applying for gun licenses. This year, the number of applications went up 11% among people under 19.
The overarching interest is sort of experiencing what they see in movies.
Young men are at the forefront of this surge. Hashim Akbar says his first gunshot was jarring.
There's, I believe, a lot of adrenaline that goes through someone's body.
This 23-year-old university student got a gun license last year.
So most of the stuff that I wanted to buy was no longer legal, so I just went with the lever action that I could find.
5 years ago, the Liberals banned more than 2,000 models of firearms, including handguns and many semi-automatic style weapons, offering to buy them back.
After 2020, I believe the government may have maybe crossed the boundaries a little bit.
There is a lot of disappointment these days.
The shelves at this gun shop used to be full.
A lot of young Canadians getting involved in this for various reasons, and also recent immigrants who come to Canada because they want to enjoy the same rights and freedoms that we have.
When people start talking about gun owner rights, I get very concerned about the ideological flow of ideas from the U.S.
We've got our camera set up behind this bulletproof glass.
Sociologists blame a renewed interest in guns in part on the influence of social media.
The kind of masculine ideology that is being promoted on the radical right side of the political spectrum, it is very much a heroic masculinity, a nostalgic masculinity.
The surge in interest is creating new pressure to relax Canadian gun laws.
If you make something taboo, you generate interest in it.
Whatever the draw, this gun range owner says he's glad to see fresh young faces. Yvette Bren, CBC News, Vancouver.
North American markets careened to a fourth day of losses in a dramatic turnaround from the rally that started the day as concerns over tariffs continued to mount. Here's a look at how the markets did today as we head to commercial break.
This is Nova Scotia. And this is Nova Scotia on your smart TV, because CBC News is now streaming local. Local news and weather on your connected TV or favorite device. CBC News Nova Scotia, streaming now.
All right, yeah, almost the middle of April, and it's a winter wonderland out there, but pretty.
That's what people were saying. It's pretty, but I'm thinking like, Christmas Eve, kind of pretty, sure.
Yeah.
April, yeah.
Feels the wrong time of month, doesn't
It definitely does, but at least it's not going to be here for very long. That's kind of the one, silver lining this time of year. Of course, we've talked about kids love it, the dogs love it. It's good for the farmers, good fertilizer, and it's also not here for a long time. All those positives, and it does look pretty. Have a look at this picture. Proof is in the pudding, and look at this pic. This is from Glenora Falls in Inverness County.
That is lovely.
That is a postcard, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Francis A. McDonald, always sending fantastic pics. Thanks to Francis for this. Ryan's picks at cbc.ca. So yes, more snow on the way for the overnight into Wednesday morning. And that will be problematic for that commute on Wednesday morning. Looks like there's going to be enough pretty much for everybody to make things a bit slick and snowy, especially with those temperatures dropping below the freezing mark. So we will be looking at that, tracking in overnight. Again, the greatest amounts over northern areas. We could see kind of a widespread 5 to as much as 10 centimeters, especially over higher terrain areas. I think more like 5, give or take a couple centimeters for most. And then, as you can see, into the afternoon, clearing out quite nicely, and we'll look at some sunshine, a mix of sun and cloud into the afternoon. The melt will be on with temperatures in the 3 to 5 range for most, and then further melting on Thursday. Definitely thanks to the sunshine. Temperatures looking pretty good as well. And then we've got some building clouds on Friday with that next little system approaching. That will bring in some late day showers for Saturday, more so Saturday night into Sunday, but temps a little closer to where they should be.
There we go.
Looking good. Okay, thanks, Ryan. A joint U.S.-Russian crew has arrived at the International Space Station.
The hatch now is open at 6:28 a.m. Central Time, 7:28 a.m. Eastern Time, as the International Space Station flew over the South Pacific.
That was the moment the 3 crew members arrived on board. NASA astronaut and 2 Russian cosmonauts came through the hatch earlier today.
Their Soyuz spacecraft launched this morning from Kazakhstan. They docked with the space station after a couple of orbits of the Earth, just 3 hours after liftoff.
The new crew will spend about 8 months on board the ISS and carry out dozens of experiments. They're set to return to Earth on December the 9th.
They'd be glad to get back by then, I would
Yeah, I
think.
think so.
That's it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.